Hi everyone, it's Vickie Kello, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane. Today I'm going to show you this cute little box that I've made. I'm making these for some teachers' gifts and just some additional gifts that you stick underneath the Christmas tree. So I've made up some bath salts and it's a roller blend, like a perfume, using the fractionated coconut oil, lavender essential oil from Doterra, and the frankincense essential oil. And then I've just added in some of the organic rose petal leaves in there. And this one's just simply Epsom salts, the rose petal leaves, Epsom salts, rose petal, with a cute jar on it. So I've made up a whole heap of these, so now I need to make a box to store them in. So this is what we're going to make today, and it fits them in perfectly. Nice little gift. So I'm going to show you how to make them. So we will need a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. So that does limit the colours or the amount of colours that you can use in there. So we will need a cardstock that measures 11 1/4. You need to keep these strips because we are going to use them. 11 1/4 by 8 3/4. So don't ditch those strips, okay? You will need them. And then I'm going to bring in my scoreboard because it's a little bit easier. And on the long side, we score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and flip it, and do 1 1/4, 2 1/2. Okay, and then on the short side, we are scoring it 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 3 3/4, 5, and 7 1/2. So this has been reinforced slightly. So then get your snips. And what we're going to do, we need to cut up the sides of the box. So because it's being reinforced, we cut up until the second score line, but we only cut the squares. We don't cut the rectangles. Okay. I do find with a box like this, it's best to cut on the score line that is closest to the rectangle. So you get the rectangle that's nice and clean, okay? And then what you want to do, because this is reinforced, we get rid of the bottom square on all of these squares. Just chop that off. And then we just need to notch in these sides so that it fits together nicely. Don't take too much off, just notch in slightly. And then the last thing we'll do on this side is just notch this edge bit in. So this is the reinforced side. Just notch them in slightly, just so it fits together a bit better. Okay, so that's one side of the box done, and then we just do exactly the same on the other side. can get bigger scissors if you want. I don't own any bigger scissors that are sharp. You could use your trimmer if you want, but I'd be too scared that I'd chop too much with the trimmer. Okay, and then just notch these in slightly. This just helps the box fit together a bit nicely, especially when the sides are all the same size. Just gives you a bit of wiggle room in case you haven't lined your box up completely square. And then notch in those sides. All right, now I'm going to get rid of this mess and leave that there, because I know when I'm watching videos I sometimes like to take screenshots. So that's what your finished cutting box should look like. Now you just need to fold and burnish all your sides or your score lines. Alright, and then on the outside of the box we are going to put adhesive. So I'm just using Seal, and I've just opened a new one. So just put Seal on all the squares on the outside. Alright, and then it comes together. So 2 bits go in the bottom as the base, and then 1 tab goes in the top for the lid. Okay? So that's one side done. Flip this around. And then just fold that lid out of the way. Okay, oh, move that in a bit. Okay, now these outside tabs, which are just the bits to reinforce a little bit, we just stick a little bit of adhesive on them and then just fold them over. And that is our box done, base of the box. So then what I do, because once this is shut, it's a little bit hard to get open again. So I've just got my 1.5 inch circle, and on your lid, which is the one with only 1 tab in it, just in the center, just push it in as far as you can go with that score line, and punch out a little finger hole in there. Okay, so then that just gives you something to open up with. Now with these bits, with the little scrap bits, this is to make the inserts in the box. You need to cut this thin strip down to 11.25. So cut that down, and then we need to score, so get your cutting blade out of the way, and we need to score at 1.5, 2 3/4, 4, 7.25, 8.5. 9 3/4. And then this piece of scrap that you cut off, cut this to 6 1/4, excuse me, by 2 1/2, and score at 1 1/4. Okay, so then fold that in half. Now this, where did I put my seal? Just put adhesive on one side of this, and this is the separation piece in the middle. So that just goes in. And it fits down there snugly, just to give a bit of separation. And then this piece, you want to fold, so we've got 3 score lines here. You want to fold the middle score line up and the other 2 score lines out. And then same on this side, middle score line up, other 2 out, and then fold it back so it's all flat, and you want adhesive on all of that. And then just refolding those score lines. If you're using Seal Plus, once it's stuck, it's stuck. So only make sure you put the 2 flaps together, not everything. So the 2 flaps together. And then so you should have a piece like this, and this just fits on this side. Snug in there, and it's just to stop that roller moving around too much in there. And then the bar salts fit in there nicely. So now to decorate the box. Now I'm using a 12 by 12 piece of paper, but I'm actually going to cut it in 6 by 6 because you only need 6 by 6 paper to decorate this box. So I don't want to waste too much of it. So the first bit is, now if you've got directional paper, you'll need to take note of that. So the first cut is 2 3/8 by 6. Then you need 1 1/8 by 6. And then you need a second cut that's 1 1/8. Did I do that at 1 1/8 or 1 1/4? No. And then this second piece of 1 1/8 cut at 2 3/8, and cut again at 2 3/8 because they're for the side pieces. So then you've got a little bit left over. So then this we just need seal on. And we will trim that piece again with the circle punch. Oh. So if you just open that up again. I was a bit rough with that those have come loose. And just get your punch in there and line up where you've punched before, and it trims that bit. Just so that they show. Okay, so that is there. Now I've got some stamping to decorate. So I've already stamped because I'm going to use the Christmas Gleaming stamp set as well. So I've already stamped and coloured the hollies, but I'm going to stamp the ornaments in Pretty Peacock, and I'm also going to stamp the sentiment. And then stamp the other ornament as well. Now, punch this out, and I've stamped that upside down for the punch, but that's all right. Oh, too much here. That's one. And I've done the same thing here. Two. And then this sentiment I'm just gonna trim out. The classic label punch does sort of cut this out. It does leave a bit of a border and some of the triangle pieces at the end, but it's not that hard to fussy cut if you don't have the classic label either. Okay. Now with these, I'm just going to get my Wink of Stella. And brush over. Now if the ink is not quite completely dry, it will run a little bit, which is what I want. I'm actually thinking I'm out of Wink of Stella there. I have another one here that I need to open. So for those that haven't opened a Wink of Stella before, when you get it, you've got this black ring in there. You need to remove that so that the little pin can pierce the barrel. And then there we go. So that's what I wanted, for it to colour them slightly, because I didn't want them to be coloured with blends, but I didn't want them left white either. So that's, and now they've got sparkle with them too. Okay, so we're going to get some dimensionals, which are here. I've got Wink of Stella all over me now. Okay, gonna get some glue dots with some dimensionals with the holly as well. Let's stick another dimensional under that, the berries. And get some Wink of Stella on these leaves and berries, because it looks not so sparkly now. And then get the mini dimensionals on the back of the sentiment. And then we are done. Okay, so that's that one. Then this is my first one that I did. And then I've done one others because I have about 8 of these to make with the daycare teachers and things. So I wanted to show that they don't also have to be Christmas. They can be other papers, because I'm running out of 12 by 12 cardstock that I've got that match my papers. So I hope you enjoyed that project, and I look forward to seeing you again on my channel. Thanks!